Okay, today's first speaker, we're going to, new and updated markets and projects with Huber Resources. John Goding is the Vice President of Huber Resources Corporation and Sewell Forestry and Natural Resources Consulting. John's principal duties include client relations, business development, timberland dispositions and acquisitions, and general management of Huber Resources and Sewell Forest Natural Resource Consulting. John is also responsible for providing oversight for Huber Engineered Woods, their manufacturing operations, partnerships, and relationships in the Northeast. John has over 25 years of management experience throughout his tenure with multiple divisions of Huber family of companies. John earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Forest Management from University of Maine back in 1995 and is a licensed forester here in the state of Maine. So with that, John. It's all yours, man.
All right, thank you, Ray, and good morning, everybody. I want to just extend a thank you to Ray and Nurkoff for the opportunity to be here and speak with everybody today. Wow, it's been a long time since I've seen some folks that are in this room, so I'll make sure I connect with some folks that I haven't seen for a long time. But I want to get started off here with a little bit of inspiration. For you folks that are maybe newer in your career, and I don't know how many are in this room, but 31 years ago as a field technician in Portage, Maine, I never dreamed in my wildest dreams I'd have the opportunity to be standing in front of this group doing what I'm doing today. So everything's possible. Set some high bars and go achieve your goals, whatever they may be. And so talking with Ray, I'll get into the program here. Hey, what do we want to talk about today? Ray said, hey, what's going on with Huber? What's going on from your perspective as you see markets here in the region, kind of across the country? And then what are you guys doing at Huber Resources Corp? So as I thought about that, show of hands, how many people have heard of Huber? All right, you guys, I love the chuckling, right? Because I've done this presentation many times, and for years and years and years, Huber's been a very modest company. And I say modest in the fact that we're not flashy, we're not on billboards, we're not on the cover of magazines, and I think you folks that know us probably kind of feel that same way. It's interesting when I talk, I provide a talk like this, for instance, in Mississippi, I might get one or two people that raise their hand. And it's important, it kind of links into what I want to talk about today, really about the Huber family. So I'm going to start and talk kind of who is Huber. What do we do? What kind of business model do we run? And then do a little bit of deep dive in a couple of those. And one of those is Huber Engineered Woods. The other one is Huber Resources Corporation, Sewell Forestry Natural Resources. And you'll see they're two separate companies. So about Huber, one of the largest family-owned corporations still in existence today. So we view that as a bit of our secret sauce to success and the fact that we're privately held. Right? We're not publicly traded and trying to hit a quarterly dividend number for investors. Rather, we have a family of business owners that really look to the long term and enable us to run their businesses. We were founded in 1883, so over a 140-year-old corporation. We run a portfolio management company, and I'll talk to you, show you what that looks like. 2023 revenues were $3.1 billion for the corporation as a whole. And we have over 3,300 employees worldwide. I alluded to a moment ago the shareholders. 6 generations of Huber family members. The Gen 6s are pretty young, as you can imagine. About 350 individual family members inside the organization. And a fun fact is of those 350 individuals, only 2 work inside any one of their own businesses. One of those is an administrative assistant. And the second is an EH&S professional that works at one of our manufacturing facilities. So a very hands-off, family-owned structure that enables us as business leaders and as employees to execute their goals and objectives on behalf of the family. There's a couple of bold words here. We've talked about 6 generations. We've talked about profitable growth, right? I think that's a core competency of the family. It's why we exist. But we do that under what we refer to as the Huber principles. As I said, I've been fortunate enough to work with the organization for over 30 years now, and I can honestly tell you that in 30 years, those principles haven't changed, which says a lot about the company, a lot about the family. a lot about the governance that all 6 generations are working kind of behind the scenes on behalf of their businesses to promote. And then long-term sustainability, right? Sustainability means a lot of things and a lot of different things to a lot of people. But the key here is long-term, and that's the viewpoint of the Huber family when they think about their businesses. So as I mentioned, we run a portfolio of businesses, and it's really made up of 3 components. Top right corner, we have businesses that we operate, where we provide a product, we provide a service, right? In exchange for that, you know, we earn the right to do business with the people that want to do business with us. We invest, right? That long-term investment. Timberlands came in. These are natural resource-based businesses, right? That are a little bit less volatile businesses, right? And they're not impacted by inflation as much. So what you see here is a diversification of a portfolio, and then we partner. And when I say we partner, we had a significant transaction at the end of last year in which J.M. Huber became about a 17% shareholder of Tate & Lyle, the largest shareholder of Tate & Lyle. So if you folks know who Tate & Lyle are, that was a big move for us in the shareholders. So sustainability, again, high-performing, innovative growth businesses is what we're in. So where do we operate? I said earlier we're a multinational corporation. The map shows where we have business locations and where we engage in business. Plants all over the world. We have clients all over the world, and we focus on those in our day-to-day jobs. So let's talk a little bit about these businesses as a whole. J.M. Huber on the top, Huber Engineered Materials. I'm not going to deep dive into that today, but we're going to focus on Huber Engineered Woods and Huber Resources Corp. And Sewell. And that's really, you know, we have both of those businesses present here in Maine as well as the Northeast. So Huber Engineered Woods, who are we? Who's heard of Advantech and Zip System? Yeah, yeah. If I ask that in Mississippi, I get a different right? We've been here a long time. We're the 5th largest OSB producer. We have about 1,000 employees with $1 billion, estimated $1 billion of revenue annually. We've got 5 mills, 2.4 billion square feet of production capacity under the existing mills that we have today. 29.4 billion total in the industry. You can see the stacked bar chart on the bottom left of who the big players are. Right, we're a small player inside OSB, and we're going to talk a little bit about why we've chosen to be a smaller player in the OSB space with our strategy. Interestingly enough, I'm going to talk a minute. We are actively constructing a brand new greenfield facility in Mississippi. That's why I keep referring to it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that here in another slide to assist us with increased capacity as we continue to grow market share of Zip and Advantech. Not just here on the East Coast, but with a desire to move west and to some underpenetrated markets. Our headquarters for Huber Engineered Woods is located in Charlotte, North Carolina. We have an R&D and innovation center located in Commerce, Georgia. And we've got sales representation across the U.S. And multiple channel outlets to distribute our product into the marketplace. Sales staff today is about 85 individuals in the field across the U.S. selling Advantech and Zip. So fairly large sales staff relative to our competitive set, but critically important to drive our business strategy. So why Mississippi? Right? I went to bat for Maine. I promise you guys I did. But unfortunately, Maine's a long way from the West Coast. It's a long way from California. And that's a very underpenetrated market for building products. High demand on the West Coast. Western Canadian OSB drips down from BC. And we all know what's going on out there. So there's a big opportunity, a big play for us to be able to move products west. We also know what the ownership structure is in the West. And there's reasons there's no OSB plants on the West Coast. Right? It's challenging to wood them with the ownership structure that's in place in the West. So we're building a brand new plant. Kind of a crazy time to build a plant, right? Inflation's going up, administration changes. Unfortunately, we made those decisions before inflation took off, before this new administration came in. And this plant is scheduled to go live in Q1 of 2026. So we're down to the E&I stage right now. We've got a lot of work ahead of us to do. State-of-the-art plant with sustainability in mind. So it's the latest and greatest in OSB manufacturing equipment. Simple Camp is the equipment that we're going to put into the plant, that we are putting into the plant. Comparison size, I'm going to talk a little bit about Easton, Maine in a minute here, bring it closer to home. Our Easton, Maine, 300 million square feet on an annual basis at full capacity. This production facility nameplate is 750 million square feet. So it's a really, really big plant. And the strategy that you're going to see here in a minute when we talk about Advantech and Zip is specialty products. How do we differentiate a product in the marketplace that solves a problem for the builder, for the homeowner, for that next person in that supply chain? And we intentionally have elected not to participate in a commodity market. So we don't make 7/16ths, we don't do the high volume process with low margins on it. Rather, we try to create solutions or provide thought process for our clients and customers around issues that they don't even know about yet. And that's how Advantech became what it was. Differentiation in the subfloor market. Advantech was a great story because Advantech is an OSB substrate, but because of the quality and the performance characteristics that solve major building concerns with swell and decay of traditional OSB, it differentiated itself into an own product called Advantech. It's really a base substrate OSB product. So specialty products differentiation is our overall strategy, and it's why we're such a small percent of that total, just under 30 billion square feet of capacity. I talked a lot about our products. It's a pretty small portfolio. How many people have seen Zip System? Anybody used it? Great. I hope you all had great experiences with it. If you haven't, there's some Huber guys over here that'd be glad to talk to you about it. So, but Zip System was another one of our specialty products that came out and said, why are we wrapping houses with Tyvek and Typar when we could just put the house wrap on, tape the seams, get instant dry in, subs come in immediately, and we're not having to go back and rework. But more importantly, as we back up to the evolution of Zip, how did Zip become? It came out of some really smart scientists in our R&D group that said, hey, the building codes are changing, and they're going to continue to change. And there's no building products out there that are going to meet the builder's need against these new building codes. Builders didn't know the changes were coming, but we did. And so our scientists went to work and they said, let's develop a product, put it into the market that people don't know they need to have, and then let's really test it by launching it during the peak of the economic crisis, the downturn in the housing market. We're like, whoa, right? That's kind of product suicide in my book, right? Like, you know, worst recession we've seen for most of us in this room in the housing market. We're going to go launch a brand new product. But what happened was, you know, we put a bet on that, and that bet paid off. And what happened is code changed. We went to this thing called a blower door, and I don't know if anybody knows what a blower door test is, but it measures the number of exchanges per hour in a tight-built home. And the code said you got to have this number. And traditional OSB and house wrap, if done properly, can meet that. Unfortunately, we recognized it wasn't done properly. It was just hurry up and get the house wrap, get the siding on it, cover it up. So when the code guys came and hooked the blower door up, they would put the blower door on it and they said, sorry you failed. When you're ready to go again, go wrap your house and call us back. Significant delays in the build process, right? And so we positioned this product to say, if you put it up and tape the seams and roll the seam, we'll put the blower door test on. We guarantee you that it'll pass blower door, and we'll put a 30-year warranty on the product. And it got the attention of the marketplace. And this has been one of our more successful products. When we look at the adoption rate of Zip System and overlay that with the adoption rate of Advantech, we're about tenfold in its early infancy stage of growth on that. Hence the need for more capacity, a greenfield mill, to meet growing market demand as we continue to gain share and displace traditional 7/16 OSB and house wrap. So really neat products. I'm not going to talk a lot about Exicor, but Exicor is a magnesium oxide product that we purchased the rights to manufacturing that product. It's an offshore product that's made. We import that. And in the multifamily light commercial construction industry, these big high rises in cities, People come in, they pour gypcrete on the floor. It's typically a slurry mix in water, and then it hardens, and then they put the finished flooring carpet or whatever on top of that. We've gone to doing that panelized. Think of being in downtown New York City with a pumper truck trying to get slurry up to the 118th floor. It's a lot easier to take a lift and a crane and bring that in, stick it in the window, and then meet the code requirements for that. So, good friend of mine here, his name's Tim Romans. I've worked with him forever, University of Iowa graduate. He was an ops guy in Huber. He's now running our innovation and R&D center, and Tim does a lot better job with his team in a video here, and I'm going to play this for us, and it really sums up who Huber is. It sums up how we think about products. It's how we are passionate over what we do. And Ray, here we go. I don't know where you are, but we're going to give it a whirl on the technical side. I know we've tried this.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Tate from Huber Engineered Woods, coming at you today from what may look like just a regular construction job site. But this is actually a part of our expansive research and development campus at our operational facility in Commerce, Georgia. Today we're going to be going behind the scenes with our R&D and innovation teams to tour the campus, including the new state-of-the-art innovation lab, to see how we gain a competitive edge, fuel our category-disrupting ideas, and redefine the building materials industry. So follow along as we put our products to the ultimate test so that when they arrive on job sites all across North America, they exceed builders' expectations. I'm here with Tim Romans, Vice President of Research and Development and Innovation at Huber Engineered Woods. Tim, thanks for having us at this incredible facility. Could you just walk us through what we're doing here?
Innovation is Huber Engineered Woods' DNA. Since we developed Advantech, right, we've created not just new products, we've created new categories.
How does the expansion of this campus increase our capabilities?
Well, first, it allows us to rapidly prototype. And that's very important for us as we continue to defend and differentiate not just our current brands, but the new brands that we have. And what it allows us to do is as we develop new categories, we have to create new standards and new specifications. And so it allows us to do that internally, and it really speeds up our path to market.
During 2020, when a lot of our open innovation partners weren't able to get into the lab and to generate data the way that we used to be able to rely on them to do so, we've been able to bring that in-house. Shear wall testing, for example, you'd have to send that up to, Wisconsin or the West Coast to get those things tested. Now we can build a wall and rack it in a day and learn.
Well, it's given us more capability. The company has invested a lot of money into some of the more modern equipment. It gives us that capability, which allows us to look at new materials, allows us to troubleshoot things in our process, allows us to look at our raw materials and determine, how much consistency there is to improve our quality of our products. So it has in a lot of ways improved our capability.
We do outdoor testing, so that's the environment in Georgia here. We try to look at some outdoor testing. We've got some outdoor testing at Eastern Maine. With our weatherization chamber, we're able to mimic a climate in the cold of Boston in the wintertime. We can mimic something like Portland, Oregon during the rainy season. Likewise, we can look at Houston, Texas during the hot, humid summer. The combination of both the lab results and the outdoor real-world testing gives us a good indication that our products are going to perform with a standard that our builders and customers can trust and expect.
That must really lead to rapid prototyping of existing products, new products in our pipeline.
Absolutely. It enables us to monitor and develop and evaluate products quicker than we would just putting them all out in the field.
As our sales team has grown over the last 5 or 6 years, more people on the road, you get more requests, more concerns, more asks of, hey, does this work here? Does this sealant work with that? Do our finished floor adhesives work with your products here? So I think it's just allowed us a lot more freedom, to evaluate our product's performance and the compatibilities with others.
So how does chemistry play into the rest of the innovation efforts that we have?
Well, there's a lot of things that we do, not just for what we do in a group, but we also support all the groups because there's always need for coatings and additives and different chemicals. And then even in our processes, sometimes we go in and troubleshoot things that are going on in the process that are chemically related that help improve the quality of our product. So it touches a lot of different aspects of what we do here.
So Jason, what do you like most about your job in innovation at Huber Engineered Woods?
Within the innovation group, I get to come in every day and try to create the future for Huber Engineered Woods. I get to discover new technologies, explore new startups, new companies, and just constantly look to see around corners and to determine what's the next great thing that's going to set Huber Engineered Woods up for the next 150 years.
I got to ask you, what's next?
Well, Tate, that's the million-dollar question. We get asked that every day, and unfortunately, I can't tell you.
Can't tell me or won't tell me?
Well, it's a little bit of both. Can't tell you from the sense that we have 20 products, over 20 products in the pipeline, and what exactly will come out next, it's anyone's guess. But I can say that we work on products that are tied to our brands, they're tied to our portfolio.
So Michael, we couldn't help but notice all of the solar panels across this entire research and development campus here in Commerce. How do those solar panels play into the environmental health and safety and sustainability initiatives at Huber Engineered Woods?
EHS and sustainability is one of our guiding principles, and we have a sustainability strategy. One of the goals of theirs is to reduce our energy footprint. Renewables is one way to do that. Solar is a renewable form of energy. It supplies 20% of our energy at the Innovation Centre. And we've been able to try it over the last 12 months or so. We track real-time data. We can see when it's on. We can see how many kilowatts we're supplying. And we're able to track that on a daily basis and prove that the system meets the design criteria. EHS, we're involved pretty closely with innovation. We get in early on projects. We're able to identify safety benefits, issues, environmental concerns, just drive that alignment and tell the story between what we're trying to do to improve and meet customer goals and also drive sustainability in our company. Also, we can help our plants too. As we put projects into a plant, we can make sure it's executed safely and meet all environmental compliance concerns.
I love the collaboration we have, not only with a very diverse skill set of folks on our innovation team, but the interaction we have with our sales force, folks like you, our operations people, and then even collaborating with our open innovation partners, just folks that are passionate about bringing new products to the market and improving our processes.
The beauty of innovation at Huber Engineered Woods is it doesn't end on this campus, right? When you talk about the people in marketing, the people in communications, our strategic builders, our insights council, our strategic partners that we deal with when we provide solutions on our accessories, all those things have to work together in order for us to continue to provide new products and solutions. And at the end of the day, that's what's differentiated us to this point.
Absolutely.
And we hope to continue to do that as we go forward.
So I want to give a huge thank you to the entire research, development, and innovation team for giving us this exclusive behind-the-scenes look of their expansive innovation campus here in Commerce, Georgia. It's astounding to see how the capabilities of our assets here give us a competitive advantage and fuel our category-disrupting products to ensure that we have world-class performance that Huber Engineered Woods has been and always will be known for. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.
All right, sorry about the volume there, but Ray, we were successful with the video, so thank you for that this morning. I'd like playing that video. It really sums up who we are and what we strive for, right, in every one of our business units, right? And I think you heard a few things in there, right? High quality, ethical company, long-term, long thinking, and that generates all from the Huber principles and the Huber family, right? The goals and objectives they've set out for us in terms of business leaders and managers to run their assets for them. So I want to switch gears a little bit and bring it in here a little bit closer to home. We've talked a lot about the Huber family. We've talked about the portfolio. We've talked about Huber Engineered Woods at scale, but Easton, Maine. Cool story with Easton, Maine. First OSB plant back in 1983. Huber decided, hey, we're a pretty decent sized landowner in the state of Maine. We probably should do something. I say first OSB plant. Huber's, yep, got you right. First OSB plant. Prior to this, we ran a sawmill in West Virginia, and we had a plywood mill in Patton before OSB came along. 1983, we decided we're going to make it. Former sugar beet processing factory, three sets of buildings. Challenged engineers to say, put OSB equipment in that mill. So for you folks that have been through the mill and have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't and would like to come see the mill, come see me. Love to take you through it and show you. But I like to refer to it as one of the most one of the most unique OSB plants in the world because of its design and the engineering marvel that took place to turn an existing footprint into an OSB plant back in 1983. The mill's grown over years. You see that 144% capacity increase since 1983. That's been through capital investment and hard work of a very engaged, doing workforce in Aroostook County, Maine. They're an amazing group of folks. You guys from the county that are in here know what I'm talking about. But we've had many families, multi-generational families come through the mill, still doing that today. And without the hard work and dedication of hardworking Maine folks in Easton, Maine, it wouldn't be where it is today. We make Advantech and Zip. We run 24/7. We're an OSHA VPP Star Work site and voted the best places to work in Maine. On the wood procurement side, I think Gary is over there. He's kind of hunkering down, but Carter Voisin's with us over there. Please ping Carter today if you got any questions on wood procurement. 450,000 tons annually. Aspen, soft hardwoods is the mix, about 80-20. Hope I didn't mess you up there, Carter, but 200 loads a week on average. 90% of the woods within that 90-mile radius, typical of everybody else that has a wood procurement zone. Gatewood and stumpage program are the tools in the toolbox for our wood procurement crew. Tree length, semi-tree length, we'd like 100-inch wood. That's just the way the mill was designed. We do slash on site. All our wood yards are run with mobile equipment. All the wood yard is conducted there, and we are SFI certified fiber sourcing. Capital investments over the last several years, $40 million over the last 10 years. That long-term view doesn't seem like a lot compared to a brand new greenfield mill that's north of $500 million today. But remember, we're the smallest mill in the fleet. But nevertheless, we continue to invest, kind of on average about $5 million a year. And that buckets is, you heard Michael Lloyd talk about EHS&S. It's the primary pillar of our Huber principles. Maintenance, repair, new equipment, process improvements, and then technological upgrades or advancements. You can imagine a 1983 vintage mill, We've still got some 83 equipment in there, and we're working hard to modernize that. That has helped with that 144% increase over nameplate capacity over the years. So let's keep rolling here. I know I'm on the clock. I'm going to switch gears. We're going to jump away from Huber Engineered Woods, and I want to talk about Huber Resources Corporation. Began in 1942. A guy by the name of Hans Huber would come to Maine, and he met a gentleman by the name of James W. Sewell. And he would come to Maine to recreate, and as he was passing through Old Town one day, he befriended Mr. Sewell. Mr. Sewell said, hey, if you got some money, you should put it in timberlands. Back in 1942, you could buy Maine timberland for $2 and $3 an acre. The Huber family said, yeah, it sounds like a pretty decent investment. So they began investing, putting dollars into timberland here in Maine. That portfolio grew to somewhere around 1 million acres across the U.S., up until really the recession, when we said, hey, let's transition from an owner to a service provider. So we did that. What was interesting, from 1942 to 1964, Sewell managed the Huber property, and then we began Huber Resources Corp. Internal at that point. You guys, most of the folks in here know what we do, but we're a timberland service provider. We do everything from forest management plans to financial reporting, full scope back office, cash management for clients, GIS systems, road designs, recreational, lease admin. And so essentially anything related to forest management, from a turnkey full suite of services we offer, and those are highly customizable to each and every one of our clients. And I'm glad to see today we have some of our clients in the room, so thank you guys for coming and being part of NERCOF. Let's talk a little bit about Sewell. I said that story was interesting, that Hans Huber and James Sewell met. A couple of years ago, Huber had the opportunity to acquire Sewell, and we brought Sewell on board as a Huber family, one of the Huber family of businesses now. So that was an acquisition that we completed not too long ago, back to 1890. So at the time, and I still think today, Sewell's the oldest brand name in forestry consulting business, if my records are right. What does Sewell do? Again, they're a consulting service business to complement our forest service management business, and they're really around natural resource appraisal, acquisition, due diligence, forest investment consulting, timber inventories, wood basket analysis, cost studies, GIS work, litigation support. And our strategy with Sewell is we wanted to enhance the toolkits we had on the forest management side of the business and diversify those skills, but also spread our wings globally. And Sewell works globally, obviously across the world, wherever there's timberland and a need for services. And so I'm going to end there. Ray, again, I want to thank you. Believe it or not, you know, this is kind of, I think, where a lot of us can probably remember our grandparents or somebody did some form of this a long time ago. But believe it or not, this is some traditional logging practices today in different countries of the way that they're logging and getting wood to the mills. So, Ray, thank you.
Thank you, John. Any questions for John? Come on, that video should have woken you up. Right.
Yeah, great question. We certainly have. We, on our Huber engineered wood, or Huber engineered materials side of the business that I didn't go into, we purchased a German company that's exactly what they do. They provide fire additives for fire rating, fire resistance, fire rating improvements. And so there's collaboration between those two right now. And it's a great question because code says in multifamily, after you get so high, you got to go to a fire rated panel, and nobody in the OSB business has cracked that nut yet. There's a few prototypes that are out there, but unfortunately, the cost bounce to get there, right, would price us out of the market. But we believe with our collaboration with our engineered materials group and this business, we could crack that code. So as Tim said, there's 20 projects in the pipeline. That is certainly one of them. Great question.
Any other questions?
I'm guessing you have patents on some of these products.
Yeah, great question. So I would tell you that that there is no patent protection on Advantech. Right, that was a long time ago that product's been out, and it was before we were transitioning from a commodity producer to a specialty producer. And so we were like, hey, let's place a bet on this. If it works, it does. If it doesn't, what are we going to do, kind of thing. And so, you know, patents back then when Advantech came out, while they were in existence, it's not something we thought about. We learned, right, through Advantech being wildly successful and market share gain, that we probably should put that into our DNA. Zip System, Exicor, both have patents on those. Good question.
Anything else? John, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.